The massive chamber of the Galactic Council stretched before Admiral Hyunwoo Kim like a metal cathedral. Thousands of alien delegates filled the curved seats that rose in perfect circles around the speaking floor. Eyes, tentacles, and sensor organs all focused on him as he stood alone in the center. Hyunwoo kept his back straight and his face calm. He had served humanity for 40 years. He had fought in 3 wars. He had negotiated peace treaties that saved billions of lives. Today, he would witness the end of everything he had worked for. The speaker was a tall creature called a luminari. Its body was made of pure energy contained in a crystal shell. When it spoke, its voice echoed through every translator in the chamber. "The motion is before this council," the speaker announced. "The human species will be removed from the Galactic Federation. All human colonies except their birth world will be seized. All humans will be banned from using hyperspace lanes. The vote will now begin." Hyunwoo watched as the voting lights appeared above each delegation. Red meant yes to exile. Blue meant no. Green meant abstain. The lights began to flicker on a cross. The chamber read, red, red. The pattern was clear from the start. The insectoid Rex delegation voted red first. Their leader, a massive beetle-like creature, clicked its mandibles in satisfaction. The energy beings called Luminari followed with their own red vote. Then the plant-based Sylvani, the aquatic depths dwellers, the mechanical forge masters. Every single light was red dot. Hyunwoo had expected this. But seeing it still felt like a punch to the stomach. Not one species spoke for humanity. Not one species voted to let humans remain in the Federation they had helped build. The speaker's voice rang out again. "The vote is unanimous. The human species is hereby exiled from the Galactic Federation. Effective immediately." The chamber erupted in sounds. Clicks, whistles, electronic tones, and harmonic vibrations filled the air. The aliens were celebrating. They were celebrating the destruction of humanity's place in the galaxy. Hyunwoo stepped forward to the speaking platform. The noise died down as the aliens waited to hear what the defeated human would say. "Honored delegates," he began, his voice steady and clear. "You have made your decision. But before I leave this chamber for the last time, I want you to understand what you are doing." A Vrex delegate clicked loudly. "We know exactly what we are doing. We are removing a dangerous species from civilized space." "Dangerous?" Hyunwoo asked. "We have been members of this federation for 70 years. We have fought alongside you in wars. We have shared our technology. We have saved worlds from plague and disaster. How are we dangerous?" The Luminari speaker pulsed brighter. "Humans are unpredictable. You do not follow proper protocols. You act without committee approval. You take risks that endanger others." "We think for ourselves," Hyunwoo said quietly. "You are aggressive," added a Sylvani delegate, its flower-like head swaying. "You solve problems with violence." "We solve problems," Hyunwoo replied. "Sometimes that requires fighting. Sometimes it requires healing. Sometimes it requires building. We adapt to what is needed." "That is the problem," the Vrex delegate clicked. "You do not fit into proper categories. You are chaos in ordered space." Hyunwoo looked around the chamber at the thousands of alien faces. He saw fear in their eyes. "You were afraid of humanity, but not because humans were violent. You were afraid because humans were different." "I see," he said finally. "You are not exiling us because we are dangerous. You are exiling us because we are free." The chamber erupted in angry sounds again. The speaker pulsed rapidly, trying to restore order. "The decision is made," the speaker announced. "Admiral Kim, you have 24 hours to remove all human ships from Federation space. Any human vessel found in our territory after that time will be destroyed." Hyunwoo nodded slowly. He had one more thing to say, but he wanted to choose his words carefully. "I understand," he said. "We will leave. But let me tell you something about humans. We are survivors. We adapt. We overcome. You think you are getting rid of a problem, but you are making a mistake." "Are you threatening us?" the Vrex delegate demanded. "No," Hyunwoo said calmly. "I am making a promise. You will remember us. And when you do, you will wish you had chosen differently. He turned and walked toward the exit. His footsteps echoed in the suddenly quiet chamber. No one spoke as he left. Outside the chamber, Dr. Biora Lee was waiting for him. She was a small woman with sharp eyes and quick hands. She had been working as a Federation scientist for 15 years, and she looked worried. "How bad is it?" asked. "As bad as we expected," Hyan-Wu replied. "Complete exile. 24 hours to leave." Biora nodded. "I have been busy. I downloaded every piece of Federation technology I could access. Drive systems, weapons, medical equipment, everything. If we are going to survive out there, we need to know what we are up against." "Good thinking," Hyan-Wu said. "What about General Park? He is already moving the fleet. Every human ship in Federation space is heading for the border. We will rendezvous at the outer rim." They walked through the corridors of the Federation building. Alien workers stopped to stare at them. Some looked curious. Others looked relieved. None looked sad to see them go. "Are we really going to survive?" "This?" Biora asked quietly. Hyan-Wu stopped walking and looked at her. "Biora, we are humans. We survived ice ages on Earth. We survived wars. We survived plagues. We survived the journey to the stars. We will survive this too. But we are alone now," she said. "No allies, no support, no safe harbors. We have each." Other Hyan-Wu replied. "And we have something they do not understand. We have the ability to change, to adapt, to become something new when we need to." They reached the docking bay where the last human shuttle waited. The pilot was General Taeho Park, a tough man with gray hair and steady hands. He looked grim, but determined. "The fleet is ready," he reported. "All human ships are heading for the exit points. Should be clear of Federation space in 18 hours. "Good," Hyan-Wu said. "Then let us go home." "Home?" Bora asked. "Earth." "No," Hyan-Wu said as they boarded the shuttle. "Earth is the past. Home is wherever we make it. And we are going to make it somewhere they will never find us." The shuttle lifted off and joined the stream of human ships, leaving the Federation forever. Behind them, the lights of the alien city grew smaller and smaller until they disappeared entirely. But Hyan-Wu kept his promise in his heart. They would remember humanity. And when they did, they would understand their mistake. Captain Jin Choi stared at the volcanic world through the bridge windows of her ship. The planet was nothing but red rocks, flowing lava, and poisonous gases. The Federation had marked it as uninhabitable. Perfect. "Are you sure about this?" "Captain," asked her second officer, Lieutenant Minho Song. "The atmosphere will kill us in minutes." Jin smiled. "That is what they think. But humans have lived in worse places. We just need to be smart about it." It had been 3 years since the exile. It's 3 years of running, hiding, and searching for places where humans could survive. Janae had led her colony ship to 12 different worlds. Each one had been rejected by the Federation as too dangerous for life. Each one had become a new human home. "Begin the landing sequence," she ordered. "Take us down to the southern continent. Volcanic activity is lighter there." The ship descended through the thick atmosphere. Warning lights flashed red as the heat sensors maxed out. The hull groaned under the pressure, but the ship held together. Human engineering was built to last. They landed on a plateau between two active volcanoes. The ground was solid rock, heated by the lava flows below. Steam rose from cracks in the surface. The air shimmered with heat. "Atmosphere is toxic," reported the science officer. "High sulfur, low oxygen. Temperature is 50 degrees above human normal." "Perfect," Janae said. "Deploy the atmospheric processors." The machines rolled out of the cargo bay like giant metal beetles. They began to work immediately, filtering the air and creating a breathable bubble around the landing site. Within hours, the first colonists were walking on the surface in simple breathing masks. "How do you do it?" asked a young colonist named Wusio Kehan. How do you make every impossible world seem possible? Janae pointed to the horizon where the volcanoes glowed red against the dark sky. Because we are humans. We do not run from impossible things. We make them possible. 6 months later, the colony had grown to 5,000 people. They had built underground cities in the cooled lava tubes. They had learned to use the volcanic heat for power. They had turned the poisonous gases into fertilizer for their crops. The world they called New Busan was thriving. Meanwhile, on the other side of the galaxy, engineer Dong Min-young was working on a different kind of impossible task. His ship hung in space near an asteroid field, completely invisible to any scanner. "How is the cloak holding up?" asked his partner, Dr. Soo-jin Han. "Better than expected," Dongmin replied, checking his instruments. "The Federation sensors passed right through us. They have no idea we exist." The cloaking device was his greatest invention. It did not make ships invisible to the eye. Instead, it made them invisible to everything else. Sensors, radar, energy detectors, even gravity scanners could not find. A cloaked ship. Federation thinks their technology is so advanced, Soo-jin said. They never imagined we would improve on it. Dongmin laughed. They gave us their technology when they exiled us. They just did not expect us to make it better. Soo-jin was working on her own project. She had been studying the asteroid field for weeks, looking for signs of life. The Federation said asteroids were dead rocks. Soo-jin had found something different. At this, she said, showing him a sample under the microscope. These crystals are not natural. They are some kind of biological structure. Dongmin looked through the scope. The crystals were beautiful, like tiny diamonds that pulsed with their own light. "What do you think they are?" "I think they are alive," Soo-jin said. "And I think they are trying to communicate." She was right. The crystals were a form of life unlike anything in the Federation databases. They were ancient, intelligent, and very interested in the humans who had found them. The first contact was simple. Soo-jin touched one of the larger crystals with her bare hand. Immediately, her mind filled with images and feelings. She saw the history of the galaxy from the crystal's perspective. She saw the rise and fall of civilizations. She saw the truth about the Federation. "They are not the first," she whispered. "The Federation has done this before, many times." Crystals showed her the fate of dozens of species. All of them had been exiled, just like humanity. All of them had disappeared into the dark spaces between stars. Most had died. Some had survived. "We need to find the others," Soo-jin said. Ones who survived. The search took 2 more years. Human ships, invisible to Federation sensors, explored the forgotten corners of the galaxy. They found traces of the exiled species in hidden colonies and abandoned worlds. The first contact was with the Corvani. They were reptilian creatures, smaller than humans but just as tough. They had been exiled 50 years ago for being too territorial. They had built a civilization in the deep caves of airless moons. "Humans," said their leader, a scaled creature named Vexstar. "We heard you were destroyed." "We heard the same about you," Janae replied. She had been chosen to lead the first contact mission. "It seems we were both wrong. The Corvani were suspicious at first. They had learned to trust no one." "But when?" Janae showed them the cloaking technology and the crystal communications. They began to understand. "You offer alliance?" Vexstar asked. "We offer survival," Janae replied. "Together we are stronger than apart." The alliance grew quickly. The Corvani brought their knowledge of underground construction and mineral extraction, their adaptability in new technologies. Together, they built colonies that could survive anywhere. More species joined them. The Nethrin were energy beings who had been exiled for being too chaotic. The Voidborn were silicon-based life forms who had been exiled for being too alien. Each species brought new skills and knowledge. But the most important discovery came. From the crystals, they were not just alive. They were the scattered remains of the first species the Federation had exiled. They had been searching for thousands of years for someone who could help them get revenge. Not revenge, Sujin corrected when she translated their message. Justice. The crystals showed them something that changed everything. Hidden in the deep archives of the Federation was a list. The Purge list contained the names of every species marked for exile and destruction. Humanity was not the last. They were simply the most recent. They planned to kill us all, Dongman said grimly. Every species that does not fit their perfect order, then we stop them, Janae said simply. We build something they cannot destroy. We become something they cannot control. The hidden Exodus became a hidden empire. 47 colonies spread across 12 star systems, all of them invisible to Federation sensors. All of them growing stronger every day. The humans had learned to live on worlds of fire and ice. They had learned to hide in plain sight. They had learned to turn their enemies' weapons against them. Most importantly, they had learned they were not alone. The galaxy was full of species who had been cast out for being different. Together, they were building something new, something the Federation would never see coming in the depths of space. Far from Federation patrols, the first ghost ship completed its trials. It was completely invisible, incredibly fast, and armed with weapons that could destroy any Federation vessel. Admiral Hyan-Woo Kim, now older but still strong, stood on its bridge and smiled. They wanted us gone, he said to his crew. They got their wish, but they never asked where we went. The ghost ship turned toward the dark space between stars, where 46 other colonies waited for orders. The exiles had become an empire. They were ready to remind the galaxy what humans could do when they worked together. Emperor Junho Lim stood in the command center of New Terra, watching the holographic display that showed the entire Shadow Empire. 200 star systems glowed softly in the darkness, each one a human colony that the Federation did not know existed. 20-5 years had passed since the exile. The scared refugees who had fled Federation space were now the builders of the largest hidden civilization in galactic history. Status report, Junho said to his advisors. Admiral Vijin Quan stepped forward. She was the commander of the Ghost Fleet, the invisible navy that protected human space. All fleets are operational. We have 500 ghost ships patrolling our borders. The Federation has no idea we exist. Population? Junho asked. 12 billion humans across all colonies, reported Dr. Haywan's song. Our growth rate is 3 times faster than any Federation species. We are also hosting 6 billion allied beings from the other exiled species. Junho nodded. The numbers were impressive, but numbers alone would not win against the Federation. They needed something more. What about the special projects? Asked Spy Master Ki Young-Ru, moved out of the shadows. He was a thin man with quiet eyes who ran the most advanced spy network in the galaxy. Project Ghostwalk is complete. We have operatives on every major Federation world. They think we are extinct, so they never look for us. And Project Reality Anchor? The first prototype was tested yesterday, Admiral Vijin reported. It worked perfectly. We can now disable any Federation ships faster than light drive from a distance of 1 light year. Junho smiled. The Reality Anchor was humanity's greatest secret weapon. It created a field that disrupted the quantum mechanics of hyperspace travel. Any ship caught in the field would be trapped in normal space, unable to escape or call for help. How many are ready? He asked. 50 units, the Jinn said. Each one can disable an entire Federation fleet. Good. What about our allies? The display changed to show the locations of the other exiled species. The Corvani had built underground cities on 100 worlds. The Nethrin had learned to live as pure energy in the cores of stars. The Voidborn had created vast networks of silicon-based life on the outer planets. The alliance is strong, reported Captain Janae Choi. She was now the ambassador to the allied species. Each species brings unique strengths. The Corvani are the best miners and builders. The Nethrin can travel through any energy system. The Voidborn can survive in any environment. Are they ready for the next phase? Yunho asked. More than ready, Janae replied. They have been waiting for this moment for decades and want justice for what the Federation did to them. Junho walked to the window and looked out at New Terra. The planet was beautiful, with blue oceans and green continents. It was more habitable than Earth had ever been. Humans had learned to build perfect worlds from nothing. "Kyung," he said, "tell me about the Federation's current state." The spy master activated a new display. They are confident and complacent. They believe they control the galaxy completely. They have no idea that half their supply lines pass through our space. Supply lines? "We have been very careful," Kyung explained. "Our ghost ships have been intercepting Federation cargo vessels for years. We take what we need and let them continue. The Federation thinks they have normal shipping losses." "Do we take everything? Food, medicine, technology, information?" "Federation never notices because we only take small amounts from each shipment. But over 25 years, we have built our entire industrial base from their supplies." Junho laughed. "So they have been funding their own destruction." "Better than that," Kyung said. "We have been improving everything we take." Our version. A Federation technology is now 50 years ahead of theirs. The Emperor turned back to his advisors. "They still do not know we exist." "Not a clue," Admiral De Jin confirmed. "Our biomimicry technology is perfect. Our agents can look like any Federation species. Our ships are completely invisible. Our colonies are in systems they marked as uninhabitable." "What about Earth?" Junho asked quietly. The room fell silent. Earth was the one subject that always made everyone uncomfortable. The Federation had left it alone after the exile, but intelligence reports suggested that would not last forever. "The Federation Council is debating the Earth question," Kyung reported. "Some want to leave it as a monument to their power. Others want to colonize it. Few extremists want to destroy it completely." "Timeline?" Junho asked. "Within the next 5 years, they will make a decision. If they choose destruction, they will use the nanobots." Everyone in the room knew about the nanobots. They were the Federation's ultimate weapon, self-replicating machines that could consume an entire planet in days. The Federation had used them before on other worlds. "We cannot let that happen," Junho said firmly. "Earth is our birth world. Whatever else happens, we protect Earth." "That might mean revealing ourselves," Admiral De Jin warned. "Then we reveal ourselves," Junho replied. "But not yet. We need to be stronger first." He walked back to the display showing the Shadow Empire. "How long before we are ready for full-scale operations?" 2 years, the Jin said. "Maybe 3 if we want to be completely sure." 1 year, Junho corrected. "We move in 1 year." "Sir, that might be too fast," Dr. Haywon worried. "The Federation has thousands of worlds and millions of ships, and we have something they do not," Junho replied. "We have the element of surprise. We have superior technology. We have allies who hate them as much as we do. Most importantly, we have the truth." He activated a special display that showed the Federation's secret archives. Kyung's spies had been gathering this information for years. The purge list was just the beginning. "They have destroyed 47 different species," Junho continued. "They have enslaved dozens more. They have rewritten history to hide their crimes. When the galaxy learns the truth, the Federation will fall. But they will fight back," Jin'e warned. "They will not give up their power easily. Of course they will fight," Junho agreed. "But they will be fighting ghosts. Every time they think they have found us, we will disappear. Every time they think they have one, we will strike from somewhere else." He turned to face his advisors. "We are not just building an empire. We are building a new way of life. A galaxy where species are not destroyed for being different. Where strength comes from diversity, not conformity." "And if we fail?" Dr. Haywon asked. "We do not fail," Junho said simply. "Failure means extinction, not just for us, but for every species that refuses to bow to the Federation. We are the last hope for freedom in this galaxy." The meeting ended with orders for all departments. The military would prepare for war. Spies would gather more intelligence. The scientists would perfect their weapons. The diplomats would strengthen their alliances. But the most important order went to a special team of engineers. They were to begin construction of the most ambitious project in human history. A space station the size of a moon, hidden in the heart of a nebula. It would be the command center for the coming war. They called it Shadow Base. As his advisors left, Junho remained alone with the display. He looked at the thousands of lights representing human colonies and allied worlds. Each light was a promise. A promise that the Federation's reign of terror would end. He thought about Admiral Hyen-Woo Kim, who had stood in the Federation Council 25 years ago and promised they would be remembered. The old admiral was still alive, still serving. As an advisor to the Shadow Empire, soon, very soon, promise would be kept. The Federation had created their own worst enemy when they exiled humanity. They had taken a species known for adaptation and survival and given them a reason to evolve beyond recognition. The exiles had become an empire. The empire was about to become a revolution, and the galaxy would never be the same. Dr. Haewon's song carefully brushed dirt away from the ancient stone tablet. She was deep underground on the Federation world of Valdris Prime, in ruins that were supposed to be empty. The Federation had declared this place a dead archaeological site centuries ago. They had lied. "This is incredible," whispered her assistant, Dr. Young-Sik Park. "These symbols are not in any Federation database." Haewon studied the carved writing. She had spent 3 years learning to read the ancient language. It belonged to a species called the Eternal Ones, who had supposedly died out naturally millions of years ago. Another lie. "What does it say?" Young-Sik asked. Haewon translated slowly. "We were the 23rd species to be marked for extinction. The Federation called us unstable because we questioned their authority. They told the galaxy we died from plague. The truth is written in stone, so future generations will know." She stood up and looked around the underground chamber. The walls were covered with similar tablets. Each one told the story of a different species. Each one revealed the same pattern. The Federation would find an excuse to exile a species. Then they would hunt down the survivors and eliminate them completely. Finally, they would rewrite history to hide what they had done. 23 species, Young-Sik said in shock. "And we found evidence of 47 on the purge list. How many more are there?" Before Haewon could answer, her communicator buzzed. It was Agent Wu Jinbei, calling from the Federation capital world. "Haewon, you need to see this." His voice was tense. "I am sending you data from the Federation Council archives. It is worse than we thought." The holographic display showed Federation documents going back thousands of years. The purge list was not just a list of species to destroy. It was a schedule. The Federation had been systematically eliminating species for over 3,000 years. "How many?" Haewon asked. 137 confirmed extinct species, Wu Jin replied. "All of them eliminated by the Federation. All of them erased from history." Young-Sik fell into a chair. They had been committing genocide. "For millennia, it gets worse," Wu Jin continued. "I found the current active list. Earth is scheduled for cleansing in 6 months. They are going to use the nanobots." Haewon felt sick. The nanobots were worse than any weapon. They did not just kill. They consumed everything. Buildings, plants, animals, even the soil itself. Within days, a planet would be nothing but empty rock. "There is more," Wu Jin said. "I discovered why they do it. The Federation is not what they claim to be." The display changed to show the true structure of the Federation government. On the surface, it looked like a democracy where all species had equal votes. But underneath was a hidden council of just 3 species: the Vrex, the Luminari, and the Sylvani. "They control everything," Wu Jin explained. "Every other species in the Federation thinks they have power, but these 3 make all the real decisions. They have been using the Federation to eliminate any species that might threaten their control." "What about the other Federation species?" Haewon asked. "Do they know?" Most do not. The 3 controlling species tell them that the purged species died from natural causes: war, plague, environmental collapse. The regular Federation citizens believe they are the good guys. Haewon looked at the ancient tablets around her, but some species must have suspected the truth. "They did," Wu Jin confirmed. "And when they asked too many questions, they got added to the purge list." A new voice joined the conversation. General Minsuo was calling from Shadow Base. the hidden command center in the Eagle Nebula. I have been monitoring Federation military movements, he reported. They are positioning nanobot deployment ships near Earth. The operation will begin in 5 months. Then we are out of time, Haewon said. We have to act now. Emperor Junho has already given the order, Minsu replied. Operation Phoenix begins immediately. We're going to reveal ourselves to the galaxy. Haewon felt a chill. What 26 years humanity had survived by staying hidden. We're about to throw away their greatest advantage. Are we ready? She asked. We have to be, Minsu said grimly. Right. Because if we fail, Earth dies, and we will be next. The conversation ended, leaving Haewon and Young-sik alone in the ancient ruins. They gathered their evidence and prepared to leave. The archaeological site would be destroyed soon. The Federation could not allow proof of their crimes to exist, but it was too late. Copies of the evidence were already spreading through the Shadow Empire's networks. Soon, every human colony would know the truth. And soon, the galaxy would know it too. Meanwhile, on the Federation capital world, Agent Wu Jinbei was preparing for the most dangerous mission of his life. He had been living as a luminary for 5 years, using biomimicry technology to hide among the enemy. Now he had to steal the Federation's most guarded secret, the Master Archive. It was a quantum computer that contained the real history of the galaxy. Every genocide, every cover-up, every lie was stored inside. If humanity could capture it, it would have proof that could bring down the Federation. Wu Jin entered the archive building using forged credentials. His false identity showed him as a mid-level researcher working on historical databases.
Oh, buddy.
Paid attention to researchers. The security was incredible. Energy shields, armed guards, biometric scanners at every door. But Wu Jin had been planning this for months. He knew every patrol route, every camera angle, every weak point. The archive chamber was a vast sphere filled with floating data crystals. Each crystal contained the memories of entire civilizations. Most of them were civilizations the Federation had destroyed. Wu Jin attached his download device to the main console.
Ow.
The Shadow Empire's technology was far superior to anything the Federation had. The download would take everything and leave no trace. Warning, a voice said behind him. Unauthorized access detected. Wu Jin spun around. A Federation security officer was pointing a weapon at him. The alien was a Vrex, one of the insectoid species that secretly controlled the Federation. You are not supposed to be here. The Vrex clicked. I have authorization, Wu Jin said calmly, showing his forged credentials. The Vrex studied the documents. These are fake. You are a spy. Yes, Wu Jin said. I am. He activated his emergency beacon. Within seconds, the chamber, filled with the sound of weapons fire, a team of human commandos materialized out of thin air, their cloaking devices deactivating as they attacked. The Federation guards never had a chance. Human weapons were decades ahead of anything the Federation used. The battle was over in minutes. Complete, reported the team leader. We have everything. Good, Wu Jin said. Now, we destroy the archive. They planted charges throughout the chamber. When they exploded, 3,000 years of Federation lies would be erased forever. But not before humanity copied every byte of data. The team vanished back into cloak mode and escaped before reinforcements arrived. By the time Federation investigators reached the archive chamber, there was nothing left but melted metal and broken crystals. On Shadow Base, Emperor Junho received the news with grim satisfaction. The evidence was overwhelming. Federation had murdered 137 species and was planning to murder more. How long before we can broadcast this to the galaxy? He asked. 12 hours, replied Admiral the Jin Quan. We are positioning ghost ships near every major Federation world. When we transmit, everyone will see the truth. And our allies? Ready and waiting, reported Captain Jinachoy. The Corvani have weapons targeting Federation mining operations. The Nethrin are prepared to disable their power grids. The Voidborn will attack their outer colonies. Junho nodded. And our fleets. 500 ghost ships in position, the Jin? Confirmed. They will strike simultaneously across 50 star systems. Then we begin, Junho said. Send the message to all human colonies.
Tomorrow the galaxy learns the truth about the Federation. Tomorrow we stop hiding.
He looked out at the stars through the observation deck of Shadow Base. Somewhere out there, Earth was waiting for salvation. Somewhere out there, the Federation was preparing for genocide. Not anymore. The exiles were about to become liberators. The hidden empire was about to reveal itself, and the Federation was about to learn what humans could do when they stopped being patient. The age of lies was ending. The age of truth was about to begin. Admiral So-Young Kim stood on the bridge of the flagship, Eternal Phoenix, as it dropped out of cloak above the Federation world of Nexus Prime. Around her, 100 ghost ships materialized from empty space, like deadly flowers blooming in. The void, the Federation defense fleet froze in shock. One moment they were patrolling empty space. The next moment they were surrounded by an armada that should not exist. "This is Admiral So-Young Kim of the Human Shadow Empire," she broadcast. "On all frequencies, your ships are surrounded. Power down your weapons and prepare to receive a message that will change the galaxy." On the planet below, billions of Federation citizens watched in amazement as the human fleet appeared on their screens. Humans were supposed to be extinct, yet here they were, with ships more advanced than anything the Federation possessed. At the same moment, similar scenes were playing out across 50 Federation worlds. Ghost ships appeared above major population centers, their hulls gleaming in the light of alien suns. The message was clear. Humanity had returned. Emperor Junho's voice echoed across the galaxy from every human ship, every hijacked communication. Array every hidden transmitter that Kyung-Ru's spies had planted over the years. "Citizens of the galaxy," he began. "My name is Junho Lim, Emperor of the Human Shadow Empire. Why? 26 years ago, your leaders told you that humanity was exiled for being dangerous. Today you will learn the truth." The evidence began to flow. Documents from the Master Archive. Video recordings of Federation Council meetings, archaeological proof from dead worlds, the testimonies of the ancient crystal beings who had witnessed millennia of genocide on the Federation capital world. Panic spread through the government buildings. Vrek's leader, General Krickstar, clicked his mandibles in fury as he watched. The broadcasts. "How is this possible?" he demanded. "The humans were supposed to be extinct." "They've been hiding," replied the Luminary speaker, its energy form pulsing with anxiety. "They've been watching us, learning from us, growing stronger." Down the broadcasts ordered the Sylvani representative, its flower-like head swaying with agitation. "We cannot," reported a technician. "They are using our own communication networks against us. They have access to everything." On screens across the galaxy, the evidence continued to mount. The Federation had not just exiled humanity, they had systematically murdered 137 different species. They had rewritten history to hide their crimes. They had built their empire on the bones of the innocent. But the most shocking revelation was yet to come. "The Federation is planning to destroy Earth in 4 months, Junho announced. "They will use nanobots to consume every living thing on our birth world. This is not the first time they have used this weapon. We have evidence of 12 other worlds that suffered the same fate." The reaction was immediate. On Federation worlds, protests erupted in the streets. Species that had been loyal to the Federation for centuries began to question everything they had been told. On the industrial world of Mechanus, the robotic forge masters shut down their factories. "We will not build weapons for genocidal murderers," their collective consciousness declared. On the ocean world of Aquatica, the depth dwellers withdrew their support from Federation fleets. "The waters remembered the truth," their song speakers announced. "We will no longer swim with killers." On the forest world of Verdania, the plant-based Sylvani colonies began to rebel against their own leadership. "The roots whisper of murdered worlds," they said. "We choose growth over death." In space above Nexus Prime, Admiral So-Young watched. The Federation defense fleet with calculating eyes. The enemy ships were still powered down, their crews too shocked to fight. "Admiral," reported her tactical officer, Lieutenant Jamin Park, "Federation reinforcements are approaching." 50 heavy cruisers, 10 minutes out, perfect, So-Young smiled. Time to show them what happens when you threaten Earth. The Federation reinforcement fleet dropped out of hyperspace in perfect formation. Their commander immediately began broadcasting. Surrender demands and threats of destruction. So-Young activated the reality anchors. The effect was instantaneous. Every Federation ship suddenly found itself trapped in normal space. Their hyperspace drives shut down. Their quantum communicators went silent. They were alone in the void with 400 ghost ships. Impossible, breathed the Federation fleet. Commander, how are you doing this? We learned from the best, So-Young replied. We took your technology and made it better, much better. The ghost ships began their attack. But this was not the brutal warfare the Federation was used to. Human weapons were precise, surgical. They disabled ships without destroying them. They captured crews without killing them. Within an hour, the entire Federation fleet was powerless. 50 of their most advanced warships hung dead in space, their crews unharmed but helpless. This is a demonstration. So-Young broadcast to the galaxy. We could have destroyed these ships. We chose not to. We are not the Federation. We do not murder the helpless.
How?
Meanwhile, on worlds across the galaxy, other human operations were unfolding. Revolutionary leader Gen-Su Lee had been organizing underground resistance movements for years. Now they all activated at once. On the mining world of Excavus, human-trained rebels seized the spaceports. On the agricultural world of Harvest Prime, alien farmers joined human agents in taking control of food distribution centers. On the technology world of innovation, scientists who had secretly been working with human researchers revealed their true loyalties. The Federation was losing control of its own territory, but the most important operation was happening in Federation space itself. General Minsu-O led a fleet of ghost ships toward Earth, where Federation nanobot deployment vessels were already in position. Target acquired, reported his sensor officer. 12 nanobot ships in Earth orbit. Destroy them, Minsu ordered. All of them. The battle over Earth lasted only minutes. The Federation ships never saw the ghost ships coming. Their hulls were pierced by human weapons before they could deploy their planet-killing cargo. The nanobots that would have consumed Earth burned harmlessly in space. On the planet below, humans who had remained on Earth watched the battle through telescopes and orbital cameras. They had been living under Federation occupation for 26 years, never knowing if their exiled relatives were alive. Now they knew. This is Captain Rosa Martinez of Earth Defense Command. Came a transmission from the planet. We have been waiting for you to come home. The message was picked up by human ships across the galaxy. For the first time in 26 years, the scattered children of Earth could speak to their birth world, but the Federation was not finished. In the capital system, emergency fleets were mobilizing. The three ruling species were preparing for total war. If we cannot control the galaxy, we will destroy it, declared General Crickstar. Activate the planet killers. All of them. The Federation had been building planet-killing weapons for centuries. Hidden in deep space, cloaked from all sensors, they waited for the order to turn worlds into ash. Now, that order came. On Shadow Base. Emperor Junho received reports of the Federation's desperate gambit. They were going to destroy 100 worlds rather than lose their empire. How long do we have, Admiral Lejin? 6 hours until the first planet killer reaches its target, she replied. They are targeting our most important worlds first. New Terra, New Busan, Corvani Prime. Then we end this now, Junho said. Signal all fleets. Begin the final assault. Target the Federation capital system. Sir, the Jin hesitated. That system has the strongest defenses in the galaxy. Thousands of ships, orbital fortresses, planetary shields. And we have something they do not, Junho replied. We have the truth on our side. And we have allies who have been waiting centuries for revenge. The largest fleet in human history began moving toward the Federation capital, but they were not alone. Corvani ships emerged from the asteroid belts. Etherian energy beings flowed. Through power conduits, void-borne vessels phased through solid matter. The exiled species were coming home. They were coming for justice. The Federation's day of reckoning had arrived. Chancellor Sang-Hoon Kim stood in the great assembly hall of the new Galactic Republic, watching delegates from 300 species take their seats. The chamber was built on New Terra, in the heart of what had once been the Shadow Empire. Now, it was the center of a free galaxy. 2 years had passed since the Federation's fall. 2 years since the final battle at the capital system that changed everything. The battle had been swift, but decisive. When the combined fleets of humanity and the exiled species arrived at the Federation capital, they found a system in chaos. Half the Federation fleet had already switched sides after learning the truth about their government's crimes. The 3 ruling species, the Vrex, Luminari, and Sylvani, had barricaded themselves on the capital world with their most loyal forces. They had threatened to destroy the planet rather than surrender. Emperor Junho had given them one chance: surrender now. His message had echoed across the system. Face trial for your crimes. Your people will be spared if you choose justice over destruction. Their answer had been to activate every planet killer in their arsenal. That was their final mistake. The Ghost Fleet had spent decades mapping every Federation secret facility. The reality anchors had trapped the planet killers in normal space. The combined forces of 150 species had overwhelmed the weapons before they could fire. The war had ended not with the destruction of worlds, but with the capture of the criminals who would have destroyed them now. Sang-Hoon looked out at the assembled delegates and remembered those final moments. General Krickstar of the Vrex, his mandibles clicking in rage as human soldiers led him away. The Luminari speaker, its energy form dimming as it faced the evidence of its crimes. The Sylvani leadership, their flower heads drooping in defeat. They were all in prison now, awaiting trial for genocide. Not just for the murder of 137 species, but for the attempted destruction of dozens more. The trial will begin tomorrow, announced Chief Justice Hae-won Song. She had traded her archaeologist tools for judge's robes, but her dedication to uncovering truth remained the same. Are we ready? Sang-Hoon asked. The evidence is overwhelming. Hae-won replied. We have documents, recordings, testimonies from survivors. The crystal beings will also testify about what they witnessed over the millennia. Sang-Hoon nodded. The trials would be broadcast across the galaxy. Every species would see justice being done. It was important that the new order be built on truth, not revenge. He asked. Admiral Lejin Quan stepped forward. She now commanded the Republic Defense Force, an organization that had replaced both the Federation military and the human Ghost Fleet. 36 worlds are being restored from Federation damage, she reported. The Corvani are leading the mining operations to rebuild destroyed cities. The Nethrin are providing clean energy to power the reconstruction. The Voidborn are terraforming damaged planets back to habitability. And the former Federation species? Most have joined the Republic willingly, reported diplomat Yoon Ji Park. They want to be part of something better. Only a few holdout groups still support the old system. Sang-Hoon walked to the great window that looked out over New Terra's capital city. The streets were filled with beings from hundreds of different worlds. Humans worked alongside former enemies. Children of different species played together in parks designed for multiple forms of life. It was everything the Federation had claimed to be but never was. Sir Admiral Lejin called. There is something else. We have detected signals from the Outer Rim. Deep space exploration ships are reporting contact with new civilizations. Friendly contact? Sang-Hoon asked. Unknown, but they are asking about the Federation. Word is spreading that the galaxy has new leadership. Some species are curious, others are cautious. Sang-Hoon smiled. Send peaceful envoys. Make it clear that the Republic is not the Federation. We do not conquer, we invite. The meeting was interrupted by the arrival of an old man in a simple uniform. Admiral Hyun-Woo Kim was now 83 years old, but his eyes were still sharp. He was the last living link to the day humanity was exiled. How are the trials proceeding? He asked. Defendants will be found guilty, Hae-won replied. The evidence is too strong for any other verdict. And their sentences? Life imprisonment, Sang-Hoon said. We will not execute them. We are not the Federation. Hyun-Woo nodded approvingly. Good history should remember that we chose justice over vengeance. What about the memorial? He asked Architect. Ji Hyun activated a holographic display, showing her latest design. It was a vast structure that would orbit New Terra, visible from the planet's surface. The memorial to the lost will honor all species destroyed by the Federation, she explained. 137 gardens, each representing a murdered civilization. Crystal beings will help us recreate what each species' homeworld looked like. The memorial would also contain archives. Every piece of evidence about the Federation's crimes. Every testimony from survivors, every document that proved the truth. Future generations would know what had happened and why it must never happen again. When will it be complete? Hyun-woo asked. 5 years, Ji-hai replied. We want to do it right. The old admiral looked out at the bustling city below. You know, when I stood in that Federation chamber 28 years ago, I promised they would remember us. I never imagined it would be like this. What did you imagine? Sang-hoon asked. Revenge, Hyun-woo admitted. I thought we would return with weapons and fury. I thought we would destroy them as they tried to destroy us. I changed your mind. The crystal beings, he replied. They showed me what revenge looks like. Species destroying each other in endless cycles of violence. The Federation started as a group seeking revenge against someone else. We chose a different path. A messenger entered the chamber with urgent news. Chancellor, the Planet Killer trials have concluded. All weapons have been dismantled. The technology has been destroyed. Good Sang-hoon said. No one should have the power to murder worlds. What about our own weapons? Admiral de Jin asked. The reality anchors, the ghost ship technology. We keep them, Sang-hoon decided. Only for defense, only under Republic oversight. Never again will a small group control weapons that can threaten entire civilizations. The conversation was interrupted by excited shouts from outside. Through the windows, they could see crowds gathering in the streets. People were pointing at the sky and cheering. What is it? Sang-hoon asked. A communications officer burst into the room. We're receiving a message from Earth. The first civilian transport from the birth world has arrived. Families separated. For 28 years, are being reunited. Sang-hoon felt tears in his eyes. The transport carried humans who had chosen to remain on Earth during the exile. Now, they were free to travel to the stars again, to see the worlds their relatives had built in the darkness. This is what we fought for, he said quietly. Not conquest. It's not revenge. Freedom. As the day ended, the leaders of the new Galactic Republic gathered on the observation deck to watch the sunset. New Terra's twin suns painted the sky in brilliant colors that no single star world could match. What happens next? Asked Yoonji. We build, Sang-hoon replied. We explore. We learn. We make sure this never happens again. And if it does, Admiral, Dudgeon asked. If someone else tries to build an empire on murder? Sang-hoon looked up at the stars where the ghost fleet still patrolled, now protecting freedom instead of hiding from oppression. Then they will learn what the Federation learned, he said. That species who fight for justice are stronger than those who fight for power. Above them, the first stars began to appear in the darkening sky. Each one represented a world where beings were free to choose their own destiny, where differences were celebrated instead of punished, where the strong protected the weak instead of destroying them. The age of the Federation was over. The age of the Republic had begun, and in the deep archives of New Terra, the crystal beings sang ancient songs of hope. They had waited millions of years to see justice done. Now they could rest, knowing that the galaxy was in good hands. The exiles had come home. The hidden empire had become a beacon of light. And the promise Admiral Hyun-woo Kim had made in a Federation Chamber 28 years ago was finally complete. They had been remembered. The galaxy was better for it.